Hey everyone, just wanted to apologize in advance. The audio quality in this episode is not the greatest. There's a lot of times where either I am too loud or Diego is a little bit too quiet, so we will work on that in the future. Also, this episode is a little bit structured differently. We talk about fewer topics for longer periods of time, so just give us some feedback if you feel like doing that. Thanks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an episode of Along for the Ride with your hosts, Diego and Bill. Today's episode is going to be about movies and also a couple of other topics. Specifically, we're also going to talk about 2021 and our expectations for it, along with the movie The Marksman. If you haven't seen The Marksman and you don't want to get spoiled, listener advised. I really didn't have much else. That's the intro. I'm Diego.
And I'm Bill.
The pause is really good. We're probably gonna cut it down a little bit. Now that I've mentioned
Yeah,
you have to leave it in. Now that
know.
I've mentioned you have to leave that pause in.
No, I don't. I can cut out anything I want, Diego.
If it is not longer than like 5 seconds, you know that Bill cut it.
Dang it.
Every time I'm gonna bring it up, the second count is gonna go up. If it's not longer than 10 seconds, you know Bill cut it.
No, damn. No, I'm just gonna extend the silence for like 20 seconds.
Oh, good. I want. That's what I want, actually. You play like a little bit of elevator music in there somewhere. I was not joking about the topics. You had brought up a show. I had brought up a show. And then we're gonna talk about a movie, and then our expectations for 2021.
Very well. I will start off. Oh, I don't know if I want to talk about this anymore.
Well, we are now.
I know.
You've already put it into our show notes topic. Bill really wanted to talk about John Dillermand, and I didn't know what the fuck this was until I opened the link, and it's a CNN link, and I was very curious. I'm like, oh, what's this thing? And it's the headline is just Denmark debuts new children's TV show about a man with a huge and uncontrollable penis. And I'm like, Bill, why?
Okay, yeah, okay. So I was just scrolling around the internet as, we do. I just happened to stumble upon this CNN article. I was immediately intrigued, as you can probably tell why.
So I watched the trailer for this. Like I watched like the CNN like video. I expected this to be way worse. And my only question is why is it not his hand? Why not his arms why does it have to be his dick?
These are all questions that we need to ask the makers of this show, Diego. We need to.
Why is this Dutch?
I don't know, because no one in America would make this.
They're going for like a claymation style, but it's also like terrifying. I don't like it. I just don't.
Just to be like clear to our audience, I have the Wikipedia article up about the show. I'm just gonna read the premise really quick, just so that everyone is clear as to what we're talking about. Okay.
Should I go into safe search to open this Wikipedia link?
Safe search? Yes, please do. Please go
Okay.
into safe search to open it. Let me know
Okay.
when you're ready, and I will read it to you.
Okay, I think I've got it up in safe search. We're fine. All right.
Okay. All right. John Dillermand is a middle-aged man who wears a red and white striped bathing costume. He has a he has a penis that can extend to a length of dozens of meters. John uses his prehensile penis, which stretches through his clothes, as a tool, such as to tame lions or to fly about like a helicopter. But it also often acts independently of John, getting him into trouble.
The man's his dick's got a mind of his own.
Okay, yeah, so we need to address what it means by acting independently.
I don't like that idea. That's
Okay.
not safe.
Yeah, so like, how sexual is this? Like, is it just like,
Watching like the little clip of it, it's not at all. It could just be his arm or like an arm. It did not have to be his dick. I just want that to be clear. It could have been any other body part.
they just decided it was gonna be the penis.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no excusing that. I mean, yeah, you're totally right. It could be his arm. I don't know why it had to be that. Is it?
This is making me sad. Can we move on? Can we do a different
No,
topic?
absolutely not. We're going in depth in this. Okay.
I don't want to go in depth on
Nope.
this.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Well, yeah, I also read some articles about how it's being criticized by like the hashtag
Everybody.
Me Too movement, and it's like, that's fair, but at the same time, if it doesn't sexualize anything,
But then what's the point of making it a dick? I don't understand.
like, is it trying to teach children about human anatomy? I mean, is it just trying to make
wanna
something
say it
funny?
was-
I don't know.
I'm like trying to read quick read this article that you've sent me so that I can find like literally any explanation.
Are you looking at the CNN one?
I'm looking at the CNN article.
Well, while Diego's doing that, I'm just going to read this one paragraph. In episode 1, for instance, the mustached Dillermand uses his gigantic stripy organ as lead for his dog, but quickly finds himself inundated with requests from his neighbors to take their pets out for a walk too.
I feel like if I saw this man walking his dog with his dick, I would not also want this man to walk my dog. That's just not what would happen.
Yeah, yeah. This is stupid. This is dumb.
This is dumb. Let's move on. I want to move on so bad. You won't let me.
No,
but I wanna move
Diego,
on.
we are talking about this. Okay.
I don't. They're literally just a man with a dick, and it's not safe. I don't get it.
Well,
I don't understand.
what is your opinion, Diego? Should this show be taken off the air?
It just makes me uncomfortable. Like part of it's because of the animation style, but also like just thinking through, what does this teach? If this was maybe like Adult Swim, sure, I could maybe see that. But this is like a kid's show with like why the dick? I don't understand this thing. This is the thing I'm the most scared about.
I would have to agree the show is uncomfortable for certain people, but I would also say that if you as a parent are uncomfortable with your children watching this show, then you shouldn't blame it on the show. You should just simply tell your kids not to watch it because you are the parent and you should be in control.
I like the one quote that I could find about the show being from like one of the like, I don't know if it's like the CEO or like the director or whatever, mainly because it's in the video and I have the video muted so it won't come up in my recording, but also it's just, we recognize young children's growing curiosity about their bodies and genitals, and like, this is not a good way to teach that. But also you don't teach them this when they're like 8. You want to wait a little longer before you start teaching about genitals and what they can do. No, just no. It's a really creepy looking show. I don't want to watch it. I really don't. Can we move on now? Are we good?
Absolutely not. Okay, let's keep talking. Okay. I mean, I would I personally don't think that kids should be watching this, but at the same time, if you are a parent and you're comfortable with your child watching it, then I don't really care. It's fine.
It's fine. I just don't get it. I don't get why it's his dick. I don't understand. I don't want to understand, really. I don't want to know how this man got a dick that has a mind of its own. It seems like it seems like it'd cause a lot more problems than it would actually solve. I don't know.
Apparently, it was very popular in Denmark because according to this article here, there was 250,000 viewers in the first episode in 5 days. That's pretty good for Denmark.
Does that mean it was good? Did they like it, or was that just like people were really like really interested? Were they confused? They might have been confused and interested, maybe even sickly interested, but they were interested. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Diego doesn't understand, but you know what? That's okay, because I do.
Yeah. I don't think you do.
No, I
think
don't
you're
understand
lying.
it. I don't understand it. I think it's just like some people got together and was like, "Hey, we need to make a kids show, but we want to make it unique. Let's just have this dude."
Thinking about dicks and penises and how they have a mind of their own, much like in real life, I guess. ? God damn it. They don't. That's not true. But that's gonna get taken out of context, I feel. I should make a statement. Penises don't have a mind of their own. That is the statement.
Are you sure
if
about
anybody
that?
ever says they do, you can. Bill, do not interrupt me when I'm making my statement.
Are you sure about that?
I am like 100% sure.
But do you know for sure?
I would go ask a medical expert. But not only do I not want to ask them that question, I also like just don't want to talk about this topic anymore. I think I'm ready to move on. You just keep pulling me back. You keep saying like, no, Diego, we can't move on. I'm like, I want to move on real bad.
Well, Diego, you see, I'm not really ready to move on yet.
Oh my god. I just gonna keep dying like every time you're like, no, we have to go back.
Well, okay. Let me just bring up maybe one more thing, or two more things, or even three more things
Okay.
here.
How many things are there gonna be?
Well, the show was developed alongside a child psychologist and other professionals who reviewed the scripts to ensure that children wouldn't misinterpret what they saw.
Well, that's good.
But what does that even mean? Because I mean, they're seeing a gigantic dick.
No, it's not gigantic. It's just long.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess. I wonder, like, what are the exact dimensions of this organ? I would like to know.
Oh, have you not seen the CNN video? I don't know. It's like weird because it gets longer and shorter as it sees fit.
In reality, we really don't know how long it could be. Like, what is its maximum length? What is its maximum girth?
I don't want to know. I don't want to talk about this. I'm so ready to move on. I do not want to talk about this man's dick. You don't understand how badly I don't want to talk about this man's dick. And like, I just don't.
Okay, well, what do you think about some of the things he does with his prehensile? Okay, first of all, before I get into that, I feel as though we need to give it a name. What are we gonna name it, Diego?
No, we don't have to. We do not have to name it. We can just keep calling it his dick. I'm fine.
What's a good name?
If we give it a name, we get attached to it. That's how this works. I don't want to give it a name.
Okay, why don't we name it like Shaggy?
I don't know. I don't want to give it a name. Bill, we cannot give it a name.
Okay.
I refuse.
Its name is now Shaggy.
God damn it.
Because it's lanky and has a lot of hair.
No, that's also like the worst name you could have came up with.
I don't know about that.
Why? Do you know why?
Because now you're thinking of Scooby-Doo?
No, it's because shag is like a slang word for sex in Great Britain.
I didn't think about that, but now that you said it, I'm just gonna take credit for that.
I love that in the external links, human penis comes up.
Oh no, no. So Shaggy.
Don't, no.
Can we get Shaggy on air right now? Can we get an interview with Shaggy?
No, we can't. He doesn't have a mouth.
Well, I mean, he kind of does.
No, he doesn't. Shut up. You can't. No. I don't want to think about it. Okay. I just don't.
Yeah. So Shaggy.
Can we talk about Caillou now? I want to move on.
Oh, I see. So you want to move on to cancer?
Yeah, I do. I just want to get off this topic. Like, okay, I'm on the bus. This is how this conversation's going. I'm on the bus and you're the bus driver, and I say, "Bus driver, I'd like to get off." And you say, "Oh, but the stop's just down the street." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll wait." And then you just kind of keep going, and I go, "You missed the stop," and you're like, "Oh no, I meant the next street." And this is how this conversation's been going. I haven't been able to get off. I want to get off the bus so bad.
You're absolutely right, Diego. And this conversation is not done.
Oh my god.
So
no, I want to get off at the stop though.
What do you think of this quote here? This is a quote by Christian Groves of the university. Okay, he's a gender studies professor at Rockslide University, and he criticized the series for
Rockslide.
What?
Rockslide University? That sounds fake.
Or no, a Rosk. Wait, okay, I read that wrong. I don't know how to say this. Roskilde University, I think.
Okay.
And he criticized the series for perpetuating the standard idea of patriarchal society and normalizing locker room culture, which has been used to excuse a lot of bad behavior from men. What are your thoughts on that, Diego?
I just don't know anymore. I'm not a gender studies guy. I don't follow gender studies.
What are you talking about, Diego? You have a bachelor's degree in gender studies.
I don't. Don't go spreading misinformation. That's not true.
Okay, all right, okay.
Here are my thoughts. This show is dumb. Let's move on.
Okay, but like Christian Gross here is hurting Shaggy's feelings, and I think we need to talk about it.
I just really don't want to talk about it. Like Shaggy can have his I don't like that. His dick can have all of the feelings it wants. I don't care.
All the feelings at once. Okay. So I see. So you're okay with the show turning sexual then?
I don't. That's not what I said. You're putting words into my mouth.
This episode is going to be called Bill Tortures Diego for the first 20 minutes.
This is me just trying to move on. I want to get off this bus real bad.
All right,
and you're
Diego.
Like, no.
The train has pulled into the station and you are now getting off.
Not only am I allowed to get off, I break through the door as soon as possible.
You just plow through everyone and get me off right now.
Get me off this bus or train or whatever the analogy was from earlier.
So
Okay.
Tell us all about cancer-ridden Caillou.
Caillou's gone. He's dead. We killed him. He's gone. Caillou has been around for, I want to say 20 years, which is a disgusting amount of time considering how terrible the show was.
It was a disgusting amount of time. Dang, Diego.
It was. 20 years. I'm not even 20 years old. I outlived the show. I'm going to outlive the show. I'm surprised that a show about a kid that is literally just a brat and nothing else was able to survive for 20 years.
I agree, and I just want to clear things up. I don't think Caillou actually had cancer in the canon of the show. I think that was just something that the internet drummed up because he was bald, but I don't think it was ever addressed as to why he was bald.
It was never addressed. This is never a thing. You know why? He's probably bald just so that they can make drawing him a lot easier, or for whatever reason, because the show came out before a lot of computer animation was a thing.
But now everyone thinks he had cancer.
Okay, that's not my fault.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Yeah, it's not your fault, but I mean, it's kind of hard to deny that he had cancer. I mean, he literally had no hair.
He also did remain very young for a very long time, so I think he might just not be able to age.
They're barely keeping him alive as the show continues. He's
Actually,
not growing.
Every episode is literally just a fever dream.
I know. Yeah, I want the finale of the show
The new canon.
to just be his mom waking up and realizing that Caillou died 15 years ago and she's still been dreaming
Caillou
about him.
actually never existed. This is actually all just a dream.
This
That's
is
how
her
the show
weird dream of because she is sterile or something and she can't have children.
What a way to go out.
Oh no.
What a way to go out on that final episode, huh?
I am curious as to actually what happened on the final episode. Not enough for me to actually watch it or look it up because I don't care.
Same.
But I'm still slightly curious.
If somebody is going to throw me a Twitter they are free to do so, but I'm not going to actually look it up myself because that takes too much effort.
Yes.
For something I care so little about.
Everyone feel free to tweet us at our Twitter. Yes, please. It'll be in the description. This is a shameless plug. I'm well aware of that.
Specifically, you only get until the end of this current year, so you have the entirety of 2021 to tell us. I don't want this to be a thing where 3 years down the line we're still getting tweets saying, "Hey, this is how Caillou ended."
Hey guys, it's been like 7 years. And I'm sure you probably already know what happened to Caillou, but here you go.
But Caillou dies in the last episode. they kill him off. He's
the final scene is him in the hospital and the monitor goes and then
they put him down.
Yeah, they put him down. He's gone. He's like a wild animal with rabies. They had to put him down.
That's what you get for whining so much. Okay. Alright, you want to move on? You want to talk about the Marksman?
Yeah, I guess, but I really am enjoying this conversation about Caillou.
I just don't have anything else to say about it. That's why I'm like, we can move on. Unless you have something more to say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's do something.
I do have something else to say, Diego. I really do.
I feel like you're just stalling at this point.
No. I really do have something else to say here.
Okay. What's the thing?
I really, really have something else to say.
Okay. Sure, go ahead.
Are you sure?
God damn it.
Okay. Okay. Well. I wish Caillou died earlier.
Okay, thank you for your contribution.
You know, I really tried to think of something else. I really did.
The fact that you prolonged it out for like a minute just to say that is the funniest part to me.
This is all staying in. Nothing's ever... No.
You can't take it out because then the context won't work. So the Marksman, if you haven't seen the Marksman and did actually want to see it, we won't spoil it. There's gonna be no, well, actually we will spoil it, so you better stop watching now or listening or whatever. You want to give him a countdown, Bill, to when we're gonna start talking about it?
10,
That's too
9,
many numbers. It's
8,
too many numbers, Bill.
7,
Bill, I should have specified.
5,
Bill.
4,
This is
3,
Bill, you should have specified
2, 1, 0. Okay.
3. Liam Neeson dies.
Well,
I
yeah, he
mean,
does. He does.
Does he? He does. Like, I'm pretty sure he does. I don't remember any of the characters' names because it's not important.
I do. I remember his name, Diego. I'm ashamed of you.
I do not care.
His name was Jim Henson.
Oh, that's why. So he made the Muppets.
I know.
Got it.
Okay. So literally, as I said his name, I was like, I almost said Jim Henson, not Jim Hansen, and I immediately.
I know, but it's still really funny because he made the Muppets. It's like so close. Why didn't they just go all the way?
I know, like, but now every time I think of him, Liam Neeson in this movie, I want to picture Kermit playing his role.
So The Marksman is a movie about a boy and his mother, and they escape to America because the cartel is after. And I'm like, okay, sure. What do you get from being in America? You don't get protection from the cartel because the cartel's working outside the government anyway. So who cares? That's like thing one. And then they walk onto this man's land because he owns land on the border, I guess. Sure. And then they're like, please help us. And Liam Neeson's character is like, I'm gonna shoot up the cartel because they're attacking these two people. The mom dies, and then he like takes it upon himself to drive this kid to Chicago, where his mom was like, we have family in Chicago, and that's the whole movie. I know I really glossed over a lot of it, but that's like essentially the whole movie.
So,
Which is like really important.
What were your just give us your initial impressions, Diego? Like maybe like a minute.
Originally, when he said, "Hey, you want to go see this movie?" I like intentionally did not look it up at all. Like I wanted to go in as blind as possible. Who was in it until you told me that Liam Neeson was in it. I'm like, okay. And I was sitting there watching the movie with you, and I'm like, this is really long. Like there's like not a lot happens, which is really surprising. Because it's an action movie. It's an action movie where not a lot happens, which is kind of a problem for an action movie. The character motivations are very one-dimensional. There isn't a lot behind them, which is, I think, very interesting as well. No, it's just like, it's like the most generic feeling movie I've ever watched. And that's not a very good thing.
I would absolutely agree. Yeah, I mean, overall, this movie I would say is like a C-, maybe a straight C if you're being generous. But I would
It
totally
barely
agree.
passes as a movie.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I, for one, I also did not look up anything about this movie. I mean, all I knew was that Liam Neeson was in it, but you saw us at the theater. I just looked it up on my phone as like the trailers were playing because I didn't want to watch the trailers. And I was just kind of like, okay, well, this is probably going to be really bad then. Like, this is probably going to be horrible because Liam Neeson stars in a lot of junk, and I've had very low expectations, and those low expectations were met, but they did not exceed those low expectations. Liam Neeson was not very good in the movie. He did his part. He wasn't phenomenal or anything. He was fine.
He was probably the best actor in that whole movie.
Yeah, I mean,
but only because he like had all the screen time. I guess the main cartel guy was pretty good.
I don't know.
He was very emotive. He was emotive. I don't know if he did like a good acting job, but at the very least, the facial expressions came off as pretty good.
He was fine, I guess. Yeah, like everyone was fine. I mean, there was no one that was bad, I would say. It was just everyone was just fine.
The actors were all fine. They did a good job. They really sold the scenes. The problem is the entire movie and its pacing are just not good. So the movie opens and it's this guy and he's in Mexico and he's walking through like a crowd and he makes a phone call. This woman and her son. The cartel are after me. I presume for stealing money. They don't really explain. I like, yeah, it's definitely because he stole money from the cartel. They don't explain why he does that. He just does, and then now the cartel are after.
To be fair, I didn't think that was extremely important because I mean the movie isn't about why he stole money from the cartel. I mean that was more of just a plot point to get the movie going. It doesn't really matter as to why he stole the money, I would say.
They did spend a lot of this time. They brought it up in the middle of the movie too. But at the beginning, they show the boy like giving a note to a girl that he likes, and then they bring it up like midway through the movie, and then it just never comes up again.
I mean, if you're gonna go see a Liam Neeson movie, I mean the writing is not going to be great. That's really all I can say.
Like, what's the point? Okay, but what was the point of having this idea? Like, why does it matter? It's clear they can't go back to Mexico. Like they try to make this clear throughout the movie that he can't go back to Mexico. So what's the point of having this like not existent love interest for this boy?
I think they were trying to establish that their life in Mexico was good and that he had things going for him in Mexico, but then to create more tension and more of an emotional impact, they made that scene happen so that the next scene where they have to leave Mexico would be more impactful, but that just did not work at all.
My only other gripe, I think, with this opening is like the guy that calls the mother, he's like their cousin or something. Like, he's not like the father, he's like a cousin. I feel like that's enough of a separation for the cartel to not care. If the mother got all the money, she got all the money, I don't know how, it's not important. Why was his immediate thought to like call his cousin? I don't know. Like, to me that seems like enough of a separation to not care. Like, they're related, but in like the loosest way.
That is true. Yeah, yeah, it's very loose.
If they were like siblings, I would get it, but they're not. They're just cousins, which seems like a very big departure. Like, they just don't. I don't know. The fact that the cartel is after them, if it wasn't for the money, would feel like really silly. And even then, like, it's just some money. The fact that they spend all this extra time trying to get it back is just not worth it.
To be fair, it's not really about the money after Liam Neeson shoots the cartel, the one head cartel. I don't remember his name.
That's right.
So
they do kill his brother.
Yeah, it's really not about the money at that point. It's more of a revenge story at that point.
It's a revenge story. I forgot about that. I forgot because that's how not important it feels.
Yeah.
They're like, you killed his brother. I'm like, cool. That's like, that seems like the most generic excuse to get revenge. Like, you killed my brother. Prepare to die.
To be fair, it is a generic excuse for revenge, but I think it's an excuse that everyone can relate to, because like if someone hurts my sister, like I would be very, very angry.
That's fair. I still think that they went through way too much effort. You know, I'm like, you guys could have just turned back at like any point. It wouldn't have mattered. And like, they want the boy dead. They got the mother. The mother dies like right away. They got the mother. They still want the boy dead though. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, the boy did nothing.
They did say in the beginning of the movie that they wanted to set both of them as an example, but I do agree that I think if they brought back like the mother's body as an example, I think that would have been enough. I don't think you need both the mother and the boy. Yeah.
They didn't get to see the mother's body because they shot her and then she like bled out in the car. And then they later.
Very true, very true. Yeah, I mean,
but
I think overall,
I still stand by the fact that like Jim, they could have killed Jim, and they could have been fine. But the boy, like they were really, really adamant about the boy being dead too. And I'm like, but he's just a boy.
Were they really adamant about the boy being killed? I don't really remember that. I mean, I remember them. I mean, I remember like before Jim shoots the cartel's brother, I remember them saying that they wanted them both dead, but then after that, I mean, it's not really brought up because after that it more transitions to a revenge movie.
Remember that Jim is like the cartel are waiting on the border because the boy's about to be deported and they're gonna go. The boy's gonna go right into their hands.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
They specifically wanted the boy dead. not just Jim. It just happened that Jim also tangled himself in this mess.
Also, I just wanted to bring this up as well. So like the initial event that kind of triggers the rest of the plot going is that Jim sees the cartel entering the area of like the Border Patrol headquarters, and he sees them entering, and then he's like, oh no, I have to go save the boy because they're going after the boy. But honestly, he could have just told the people at Border Patrol that those are the guys that shot this boy's mother. Can you like arrest them please and get them out of here?
I did think it was very funny that they handed the Border Patrol officer like a very clearly fake ID. And I originally laughed because I'm like, oh, he's like, they're definitely, I'm like, oh, they must have got the wrong prop or something. No. I forgot that in that scene, he's like intentionally trying to show off his tattoo that he has. And I guess that shows that he's part of the fucking cartel, I guess. Either way, they definitely got through without like any hiccups, which I'm like, damn, if it's really this easy to just sneak through the border of America, what was the point of the fence?
Yeah, I was I'll come back to what I was saying before in a second, but I was also wondering, like, is there supposed to be some kind of like political commentary going on? Because every once in a while they'll mention, Jim is on a phone call with his daughter, and can you guarantee that he'll get back into America after he's deported with everything that's going on right now? Okay, is this supposed to be some kind of dig at the current administration's like stuff going on with immigration? And then the thing that happened with the Border Patrol guy getting the super
They show
super
a lot
sus
of corruption in this movie. They show a lot of corruption.
I know. See, I'm just wondering, like, is this supposed to be some kind of political jab? Because it does. It does not work at all.
Because at the same time, Jim Henson's stepdaughter, I guess the daughter of the dead mother. Jim Henson has a wife. The wife's dead. She had a mother, which I assume the daughter like already was born by the time that they got married. I don't know. Not important. The only important part is that she's part of Border Patrol. Also, every relationship in this movie is very whack, except for the boy to his mother. That's the most direct like relationship in this movie.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah. Why make it not just his daughter? I don't understand.
I don't think it really matters that much. I mean, I didn't really notice like that. It didn't really stand out to me. I don't think that really drags the movie down at all.
No, it doesn't. It's just really confusing because they did it twice. They like make the connection more weird than it has to be. I don't know. It's the only reason that we know that it's not his actual daughter is because she makes a comment about how she's never seen her happier since other than the day when she married you or whatever. So it's like, okay, so she was not only around but old enough to understand. I don't get it. Why not make the guy that swindles the cartel the dad? Why not make this his daughter? I don't understand this thing. It's weird to me that they would go through all the trouble to like write in things that like don't matter and not just take the easy route.
Anyway, before I was saying,
My bad.
You're good. I just found it odd how when the cartel people show up at the headquarters for the first time, and Jim sees them and he's like, oh, I need to go get the boy out of here. Why didn't he just go tell the Border Patrol people that the cartel is there, and then they would just arrest all the cartel, and then the boy would be fine, and then there wouldn't be any movie? Do you know what I'm saying?
True.
I know. I was like, okay.
I feel like especially since his stepdaughter, whatever, his half daughter, especially since she works for Border Patrol, you'd think that call would be really easy to make.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. I know it would be. Oh man. And yeah, I mean, I would just say that.
Because he didn't want to tell. Wait, is it because he didn't want to tell them about the money?
I mean, he could have just told them and then not brought up the money. That would have been just as easy to do that, right?
That's true.
Like, there's no reason why he couldn't have done that. Yeah, this movie is not well written at all. There's a lot of little plot details that don't make any sense.
I do think it's really funny, like the sneak scene where they're getting out of the building.
I know that they just kind of completely gloss over how they managed to get out of the building, kind of. Well, I mean, I guess they do kind of like have that scene where he like ducks in the one like room, but like that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's
I
it.
still thought that was pretty funny.
Just kind of going off of that, I didn't think there was anything like laughably bad in the movie. I think maybe the only thing I thought that was really funny was how they used CGI fire in 2 scenes where things were burning, and like how
I mean, I still think the funniest shot is the final shot where he goes and dies on the bus.
oh my god.
like I don't know why that was just really funny. Like he gets on he pays the bus fare, he gets on the bus, he sits down, he fucking dies. The movie ends.
I
Like he
know.
bleeds out on the bus. I don't know why that's really funny, but it's just like
that ending
sorry,
was
don't mind me, I gotta go die on the bus real
I
fast.
know. that ending was not satisfying at all to me. I think that
Oh no, it's not. It wasn't. That's why it was
yeah.
really funny.
Especially I just want to point out the script does do some really good setups and payoffs. Like the script isn't horrible, I would say. It's not horrible.
No.
They do some things right, but one thing that they set up that wasn't paid off was the hot dog thing. They did not get a hot dog when they got in Chicago. I was mad.
That is true. They did show a shot of the hot dog cart, which makes me think that they couldn't afford it.
I know, yeah. It's like can you really not afford just 2 hot dogs to use in your scene?
No, you had to save the money for the bus fare. You had to save the money for the bus fare so you could go die on the bus later.
if we're being realistic here, if we're talking about realism here, he would have died well before they got to Chicago because he was shot in the stomach and then stabbed like 3 times in the gut. He would have bled out well before they got to Chicago. I'm just saying.
That is true.
And especially since before they got off the freeway, they saw a sign that said 52 miles to Chicago. And then we saw later that it was towards sunset and they were hitchhiking. So they were walking for probably like at least a few hours before someone picked them up. And yeah, he would have died well before they reached Chicago. No.
I agree. I also think that the climactic shot where he shoots the driver of this SUV, somebody should have died in that.
Absolutely.
Like the car, not only did the car do like an amazing flip, which would not have happened. The car would have just kept going forward. It did like a flip and then it like rolled like 5 times, and then everybody in the car except for the guy that was shot because he was the driver like gets out of the car. They're like clearly staggered, but they're not injured, and that pissed me off. I'm like, one of the guys should have died. That was the whole intention of shooting them out of the car.
Yeah, I agree. And especially how the car
how able they were to
and
do
like
stuff, too.
I remember watching that in the theater when the car did like that like amazing flip, you know? I remember I was like, yeah, because that was the first exciting thing to happen in the whole movie. I was like, yes.
It's the climax, because nothing exciting happens in this movie. Nothing happens. It's so much talking and them just driving around in a car. I guess the scene where they're in the hotel is kind of exciting.
Kind of.
Like, I remember when we got out of this movie, I went, this movie makes me feel very anxious. Like, I just definitely, like, but not, like, in a way because it's exciting. Like, I don't know why. I guess the idea that the cartel are, like, following this man around just made me very anxious.
I was not anxious at all. I was mostly just kind of, like, sitting there. I wasn't really feeling any emotions. I was just kind of like, well, I'm here. I'm watching it. Like, there wasn't anything, like, emotional about the movie.
The most emotional part was when the dog got shot. I really missed that dog.
I would disagree.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Bill
because
Bill doesn't like dogs.
Well,
confirmed.
they do that in every single movie ever.
I know. It's so
and
cliched.
everyone falls for it every time. But it's happened so
Because
much
it's
that I just don't care.
You are a brick wall of emotion.
Well,
There's
yeah,
nothing
I
there.
would say there was maybe once, maybe twice in the movie where I almost felt a human emotion, almost, but not quite.
Bill the robot feeling emotion.
Yeah.
Not today.
Well, like, and I just wanted to briefly go back to what you said about the pacing of the movie. I would also agree that the pacing was horrible. It felt really long in the second act, but then the third act was kind of short to me, and the first act was kind of short, but the second act was way too long. The movie was it wasn't even an hour 40. It was like hour 35, something like that. But it felt like 2.5 hours. It was really bad. I just wanted to like bring this up really quick quick too. I was legit mad when they were burning the money in the fire. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
They were fixing inflation. Hell yeah.
I was so mad. I was like, I don't care if this is the cartel's money. I'm keeping that.
To be fair, I think at that point in the movie, Jim or Liam Neeson determined that he didn't need the money because his house was already gone anyway, and this is I guess he determined that this was the last thing he was gonna do.
I mean, I do
Which-
understand that this is supposed to be an emotional moment for both of our characters. I just did not care at that point.
The kid goes, "My dad." They're like, "Where's your dad?" And he's like, "My dad is dead." And I'm like, "Okay." I don't. The kid asks at some point in the movie, "Does he have a wife?" And he's like, "Oh, she died." And it's like, okay. And then later on in the movie, he asks, "Do you think about her sometimes, your wife?" And then he goes, "Every day." And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. Later on, again, like the Border Patrol daughter is like, you have to bring this kid back. It's against the law. You kidnapped him. And he's like, "I'm gonna do this thing because it feels like I'm doing it for my wife." And I just don't understand why.
Yeah, that wasn't set up very well. I agree. It really just was not set
And
up.
then
I mean,
also
yeah.
the daughter never gets a conclusion to her character arc. We don't see her after that
Yes,
point.
I remember mentioning that after the movie theater. I brought that up where I was like, yeah, we just never ever see the daughter again. I mean, we saw her like 20 minutes before the movie ended, and then we just don't ever see her. That was very disappointing. I just kind of wanted to briefly mention, I don't know, maybe you noticed this as well, but in the first act, a lot of the scenes to me just did not really gel together that well. There was the scene where he finds the dude with like, I think he has like a broken ankle or something like that in the desert, and he's like really sweaty and stuff, and he gives him water, and he radios in the dude like, "Hey, I have a guy, send an ambulance." And I was like, okay, so then, yeah, there is no point, because then the next scene, he's just like feeding hay to his cows, and I was like,
is that to establish that he lives on the border? Because they were gonna do that anyway.
I don't know what the point of that scene was. That's what I'm trying to say.
I guess maybe to establish that he's got a direct connection with the Border Patrol.
I don't know though, because like it just didn't really seem to gel well with all the other scenes. Yeah, because then he just goes to feeding his cows, and they cut to him back at like the Border Patrol place, and I'm like, what is going on? What's happening? I'm so lost.
I feel like it might be important to mention, even though we haven't mentioned it yet, that the original reason that Jim Henson is doing all of this stuff is because he lost, I guess, a loan on his house and can no longer pay for it. And when he finds all that money in the bag, he's like, "Oh shit, I can use this money to pay off that loan for my house." I mean, obviously it's not important later because they do burn the money. So it's really not important, the money. Just keep the money. I don't understand. Like it's blood money. Doesn't matter. They do end up burning his house down later, and they do tell him about it. He get like his daughter or whatever tells him that, like, "Oh, they burned down your house." I did think it was weird when the cartel guy was like, he specifically kept his like silver star medal that he got. Oh yeah, Jim Henson was in the Marines. It's brought up like twice, and it doesn't matter. He's just really good with guns.
Yeah, like I remember in the movie they tried to set up like this weird connection between Jim and the head cartel. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're both soldiers, yeah." And Jim Henson is just like, "You're not a soldier." And then like I expected that to go somewhere. It just never really does until the very end when he's like, "Hey, I'll give you back your star for some reason." And he's like,
I don't know why that was important.
I know. And then all of a sudden Jim is like, "Okay, for some reason now I respect you and I'll give you a choice." It just doesn't make any sense.
They characterize the cartel guy so much in like the final scene where it does not matter.
Yeah, well, and then like you're right, because then while he's holding the boy hostage, all of a sudden he's just like, "Yeah, do you think I had a choice?"
We get this context. We get this context dump that like does not need to happen at the climax of the movie. It would have been better if the cartel, like, they characterized him throughout, because all we know up until like that climax scene is he just wants revenge for his brother, and also the cartel is surprisingly rich on resources in America.
Yeah, we just like
they have a lot of connections in America, which makes me wonder why they don't just operate in America.
Yeah. You're right, yeah, because I remember like we cut to that scene where they're in like this modern house, and we just see like stacks and stacks of guns and like computers, and then like they track his credit card somehow through the computer.
The best part about that scene is the opening shot when we get to that house, and the cartel guy looks out the window, and it's a dad and his boy playing baseball, and he's like looking out the window at this. And I don't know why they showed that, other than to maybe show like this is like America, but like it's still like, why is it to show that he cares? Because he clearly doesn't.
I know, yeah, like you're right.
Or
Like,
maybe just to show that they're in normal America, but then that's just like, okay, sure.
sure, why not? You know, like I think that's the slogan of this movie. Why not? Just
Why not?
Why not? You know, why not? It's
Yeah.
fine. Everything's fine.
I did think it was funny when they when the cartel took his guns, and then they go to a gun shop, and the gun shop owner is just like, "Yeah, my brother served in the war," and then Jim gets to talk about war stuff for like 2 seconds. I guess that's enough to prove that the guns are legally purchased or whatever. He doesn't actually legally purchase them because he has to get like the paperwork processed. But then like the gun shop owner is like, he's like, I can't sell you these guns without going through the proper dues. And he's like, please, I need these guns right now. And then the gun shop owner's like, if somebody finds them, I'll report them as stolen. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, so you're just gonna circumvent the law?
Yeah.
War with you.
I know it.
Okay.
That scene was also kind of funny to me, where he's just like, I need these guns now, and he's like, I can't do it, otherwise I'll get in trouble. But he's like, but I need them now, and the guy's just like,
He
okay.
insists, yeah. Okay, sure. Then they stop at like this podunk town, and there's just a gun shop, and I think it was literally just labeled gun.
Yes, it was. I wanted to bring that up too. It was just called Gun Shop.
It was just called gun shop or whatever. It was so funny. Every like they stop at bar or whatever.
Yeah, bar.
Like, generic bar. You know?
Oh
I
yeah,
did think
wait.
Yeah.
What was that one brand that kept showing up? Was it Pop-Tart, right?
Pop-Tart. That's right. Because the boy buys Pop-Tarts and then they eat them later.
I know. I was
In
like,
the movie.
okay, was this?
That's the only thing that had like a brand name on it, and it did not matter. It was really funny though.
They were totally sponsored by Pop-Tart. They totally
sponsored by
have to
Pop-Tart.
be.
Even though I don't think Pop-Tart cares. I don't know. It's still funny. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to having a Pop-Tart now that we're talking about it, but yeah, Pop-Tart.
The power of advertising, Diego.
I guess the advertising's worked on me. I'm hungry for Pop-Tarts now.
Oh no.
I don't know, man. The cartel has his access to so many resources that it confuses me as to why we even care. They're like, oh, we can track his credit card information. How did they get without like hacking? Which means they have access to elite hackers. Which is like, they could have done a lot more to him. Specifically, like they could have froze his account or whatever, so he can't buy things. They just kind of track him.
Yeah,
Like,
I know that
if they wanted the movie to end a lot faster, they could have just froze his credit card. He would not have been able to buy much, I guess, without their cash. I guess.
I know. I was thinking of that. Like, if this guy is really on the run, especially with a child, that's considered kidnapping, and they would totally just freeze all of his credit cards, all of his bank stuff to try and stop him. Like, he would not be able to use any of that.
Well, this is the cartel, I guess, because they have all this power. Oh, the other funny part of this movie was when the kid eats a hamburger. I don't know why. The way that he eats it is so funny, and he does it twice.
He's just like, I would like a hamburger, and then he's just like, nom, 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 nom.
And then he eats it, and it's like the most weird way to eat a hamburger, which was really funny.
I don't know. I would just like to say that this movie did not establish a lot of character relations well. Like the relation between the boy and Jim, they had a few moments here and there where they were like, oh yeah, just kind of connected a little bit, but I don't think it was nearly enough for it to have that really big like emotional scene where they bury the dog, and all of a sudden Jim's like, I hate you, I'm taking you back to Mexico.
Oh yeah, no. The fucking reason that happens too is because the boy says, the heaven just gained your dog because the dog was so good, and then he's like, nobody goes to heaven, heaven's not real. I'm like, okay, wow, fuck you. Okay. I guess this is kind of pulled up later because they stop at a church so that his mother can have like a proper funeral, even though it's literally just like a reverend in an empty church and they're talking about it. But then, like, is he just not a religious person? Like, but like, why is he so mean about it? I don't understand. He's like intentionally very mean, and then the boy just runs off. The boy knows that the cartel are after him, and he's just gonna run off into like the woods.
To
where
be
he's
fair,
probably gonna die.
he is a little child, Diego. He doesn't have a lot of like logic yet. But I mean, at the same time, yeah, like that doesn't make any sense.
There were many a time in this movie where the boy was like, I'm just gonna go back to Mexico, and I'm like, dude, the cartel are literally after you. You understand what the cartel are, right?
Yeah.
Even like self-preservation was just not on this kid's forefront because he just wanted to go back. Like, regardless of how shitty life would have continued to be, he wanted to go back. And I'm like, all right.
And like
kid.
he literally saw the cartel shoot him and his mom died because the cartel wanted his mom dead, and yet he's like, I want to go back to Mexico.
I want to go back to Mexico because that's where I have girl.
That's where I have that girl that doesn't know me at all. Yeah, that's the reason why I want to go back to Mexico. Yeah.
There was that really good line at the beginning of the movie where he goes to the girl's house, he drops like off the letter. There's like, I guess, boy that they never name and never comes up again anyway, where he's like, she doesn't even know your name, and then the boy goes, she will, and then they never bring her back up. They never even name her. He's like, I got a girl back in Mexico, I guess. So I guess I guess that was a lie because she never does get to learn his name because he can't go back to Mexico now. Also, I'd like to think that the entirety of the cartel was literally just these 4 guys. They do not show anybody else. There are 4 people in that SUV chasing after Jim, and that is it. There are no other guys in the cartel. That's all of them.
So
they never show any other connections. I think there might be a couple guys in the house in the one house in Arizona or whatever where they're like tracking Jim Henson from.
To be fair, they did establish a connection between like the cartel in Chicago when they called him up and was like, "Hey, they're coming to Chicago." True. I don't think you really need to establish that there's more cartel. I don't think that's just kind of like a detail that's kind of implied.
It is just funny because because like this one guy, like the one figurehead guy, is like the entirety of the cartel. Like essentially, like it just feels that way because there's nobody else.
That is true. Like they don't show him. He's always like, "Oh yeah, I'm following orders," and they don't really show him taking any orders. He's only giving them.
Yeah, exactly. I will say it was pretty great though at the climax when he's got the boy, and then they're like talking about how he never had a choice, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, sure, maybe, but it's
maybe,
but you're an adult, you're in America, you could definitely just leave. Like nothing would stop you. You're in America. You do need some money, which is probably why you're chasing them partly down. But like you could have just left. Like the cartel. Maybe that's just not the way the cartel works. Also, the scene where he really wanted the boy to shoot him was really weird. I get the idea. Still very weird.
Yeah. I mean, I understood the scene.
I understood it.
I also wanted to just briefly mention a scene that I found very funny, and most people probably wouldn't find it funny, but I did just because I was just paying attention to like how the scenes were organized. And so I don't remember what happened before, but they had been focusing on Jim, and I think the boy's name is Miguel, I think. They had been focusing on them for a while, but then they cut back to the people, the cartel in the SUV for maybe like 10 seconds, and they're just like chilling, not saying anything, and then they just cut back to Jim and Miguel, and I was like, okay, I can just picture the writers being like, oh, we've been on Jim and Miguel for a while, let's just cut back to these people for like 10 seconds for no reason. I just found that funny. It's to most people, they probably don't find that funny, but I did. I was like, yeah.
Miguel didn't even speak for like the first act of the movie because he feigned not knowing English, and then he clearly knows English because he speaks fluent English.
Oh yeah, Miguel, yeah.
Pretty much, why didn't he just speak? I don't know, like, he's not mad. He could have just said, I don't want to go with you, and then the movie could have ended at that beginning shot.
I think, well, I mean, it was established before that the boy did blame him for his mother's death, so he was mad at him. But
he also explained to the border guard in Spanish. The border guard spoke English. He could have just used English.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I got it now. Okay, I was confused for a second. I got it. Yeah, that is a fair point. I don't know, man. That's literally my response to everything that happens in this movie. It happens for some reason. I don't know. It just happens, you know.
I think I know.
So I feel as though we're done. I think, right? I mean, I don't really have much else to say.
My only last comment is, I guess I gotta go die on a bus. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Yeah.
So
That's still the funniest ending to the movie because it doesn't make any sense. It's pretty great.
he's just like, yeah, I'll just die. That's fine.
I'll just go die on the bus. I'll pay my fare and I'll go die on the bus.
Stupid, stupid.
Alright.
Overall,
Yay.
I would say overall, my opinion is that you should not watch this movie. Definitely don't pay $12 to go see it. Maybe if it's on streaming and you just want to watch something in the background, then maybe put it on. But I would not dedicate your time to watch it. It's not well written at all. It's not well acted, I would say. I mean, it's acted fine, but it's nothing phenomenal. And overall,
It's so boring.
it's just
nothing happens.
really boring and not well paced. Just don't waste your time.
So long, and the talking is so stilted. It's so boring.
To be fair, I don't think anyone's gonna go see The Marksman with Liam Neeson. I don't think anyone's aware this movie's out because it's not well advertised.
I wasn't for sure.
Yeah,
You'd
I
think
saw
with a name
zero
like Liam
advertisements.
Neeson- You'd think like with a name with like Liam Neeson in it, they would at least try a little bit with the advertising.
I mean, no one cares about Liam Neeson anymore. Well, anyway, talking more about Kermit as Jim. When I picture Kermit, I just pictured Kermit singing like the Rainbow Connection song. Are you aware of what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Where he's just like the Rainbow Connection, the cartel.
That's how the movie should have ended.
The
is that he
illegals.
should have just started singing the Rainbow Connection.
And me, la.
That's how the movie should have ended. Is he should have died on the bus, and then like that song starts playing. That's how that should have ended.
The Rainbow Connection.
And then he dies.
Let's transition because the Marksman does not deserve any more of our time.
Yeah. The real last topic here is just like, what are your thoughts and expectations for 2021 here?
Absolutely. Well, I know everyone's saying that, well, maybe not anymore with recent events, but a lot of people have been saying that, well, 2021 can't be any worse than 2020, can it? And I beg to disagree.
My only hope is that by the summertime we have the vaccine distributed enough to where like life can just kind of resume. That's my only hope and expectation.
I don't think that will happen, Diego. To be honest, I don't think that will happen at all.
Oh, I agree. That's what I want. That means it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. There's just so many people that are very suspicious of the government and other things, and
I don't want to talk politics. It makes me upset, but I don't want to talk politics.
I mean, I'll just say this: I don't blame people for being suspicious. And if you want to, and I think it's a good trait if you question authority, that you shouldn't just blindly follow people and follow authority.
But you should also do things in a legal fashion. Like if you disagree with the law, you follow the legal way to change it. You don't just fucking do your own thing. That's not how this works. Like if you don't like the law, there's legal ways to change it. I don't understand. I don't get it. I will say that seeing the breaking into the White House was really disappointing. It's the first time in a very long time where I've thought I'm really disappointed to be an American.
I agree that you should question authority if you feel the need to do so, but you shouldn't feel the need to question it just regardless of what's going on. Like you should feel the need to question it, but there should be a context and a reasonable context to that questioning.
Yeah.
All right.
And what are your hopes for 2021? I feel like we talked about government, but that's not the only thing going on.
Well, I just hope that there are more movies coming out, you know what I mean? Like, I know, like, we're gonna get the 2020 movies that were delayed, and then we're gonna get the movies that were intended for 2021, as long as everything goes well, which, knowing our track record, things will not go well.
Uncharted movie.
Reference to episode 0, go watch it, please. Please, just watch
Uncharted movie come out now.
I
want that Uncharted
I still
movie
don't
real
think
bad.
I still don't think that's going to happen. I would be very, very shocked if that released this year.
It's the one big thing that I know that's going on this year is it's Pokemon's 30th no, I was wrong again. It's Pokemon's 25th anniversary. And because it's their 25th, they're gonna be doing like a big celebration-y type thing. The only thing that we know, which is confirmed, is Pokemon is teaming up with Katy Perry.
What the
for something?
Wait, what?
Yes, this is a thing. They released a trailer last week. Like a nice 2 or 3 minute long video, just pretty much showing off like all of Pokemon's lineage, and then at the end it's like Pokemon cross Katy Perry. I'm like, oh, okay.
Katy Perry isn't. Well, I guess Katy Perry isn't relevant anymore. That's a
Well, she
very
is
poor
now.
choice. Yeah, she is now, folks. Here she is. Is she gonna?
She's not a
like,
bad singer. I'm just confused. I have no idea what they're planning to do with her.
She's gonna make a Pokemon song.
God, that's probably what it's gonna be.
Her next big
It's just
hit.
the only other Pokemon does like a lot for their anniversaries, so I could imagine that they do something big like that. Technically, their anniversary's in February, so that's probably when we're gonna get a lot of that information drop. The other one that's also happening this year is Pokemon Go is turning 5 years old, which makes me feel like an old man.
5 years, really.
5 years of Pokemon Go.
It feels like it's only been like a year, 2 years, something like that.
What time is actually just never? It just doesn't stop, huh?
Yes,
We keep going.
We are marching towards our inevitable doom as we speak, Diego.
At least I can play whatever their 5th anniversary Pokemon Go activity is gonna be. I'm really pumped for that. I just want a Wormpole, man. I want a Wormpole with a top hat.
What's
That-
going on? You're wearing a
And
top
I'm not
hat?
gonna explain that. I'm not gonna explain that. We're just gonna keep going.
What? Well,
Bill hasn't played Pokemon Go in a while. He doesn't know
I've
what I'm
never
talking
played
about.
it.
Everybody
No.
can shame him in the comments. Everybody can shame him in the comments for not knowing about Pokemon Go.
You know what?
Um,
I'm okay with this.
The thing I'm really gonna be sad about though is on March 31st, Mario's just gonna go away. His 35th anniversary is almost over, and then Nintendo's taking him away.
Really? Wow.
No, no.
I say like
Kind of, but not really. They're taking away a whole bunch of Mario related stuff. You can no longer buy like Super Mario 3D All Stars. You can't play Mario 35 anymore. On Wii U, you can no longer post original Mario Maker courses. You can still play the ones that are there, but you can't post anymore.
I literally
So-
have no idea what any of those stuff you just said, so I guess I don't care.
That's
But okay.
fine.
Yeah.
There was a game that Nintendo released, which is the compilation of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy, all on the Switch at $60, which is a little bit much, but that's beside the point. They released it they released it late in the year last year, and they said that this is a limited release that you can only get until the 31st, even digitally.
Great. Great. Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is not normal for video games, but that's still just, yeah.
if we're talking about video game expectations, I already mentioned last episode, The Sons of the Forest, the sequel to The Forest. I mentioned
Yeah.
that briefly last one. I'm excited for that. I'm also excited for Outlast 3. I don't know if you know the Outlast games at all. They're horror games.
I do.
The first one came out like 2013. The second one was like 2016,
Mhm.
and then 2021. The third one will be coming out. It's called like something about trials. I don't know. It's supposed to take place in like the Cold War, and you're supposed to be playing as like this
Okay.
like test subject in a Cold War experiment. So I'm excited for that. Well, I don't know if I
Rumors have it that Pokemon is making a remake for Platinum and Diamond and Pearl. Very excited for that. I feel like I cut you off. What were you saying?
No, you're
Okay.
good. I was
I thought
just
you were done.
no.
I thought you were done with your topic.
I was pretty much done. Oh no,
Oh.
I was just like I was about to ask
Okay.
like what. I have no idea what those games are either. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, I know
Bill, you have to play a Pokemon game.
I know.
Bill, you have to play Pokemon. It's the biggest media franchise. You have to play at least one.
I mean, no.
Damn. Okay. Bill, you have to play one Pokemon game. It has to at least be one.
I've played Fire Red. It's the only
Good
one I've
enough.
played. Yeah, no, good enough. Good enough.
Did you like it?
boys.
Did you like it?
It was okay. I honestly, I'm not a big fan of like the RPG grinding stuff. That's not
That's
me.
fair. I also do not care for Generation 3 that much, and specifically those games I don't care for very much because Kanto's really boring. I mean, I want you to play a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game at some point because those are much better. But yeah.
No.
All right. Well, that was worth a shot. Supposedly
man.
there's supposed to be another Death Road to Canada update soon. I don't know what they're adding, but I'm excited.
Very.
It's
very
funny too because
cool.
it's only on the game goes to like the updates go to Steam first, and then there's an external company that does the updating on consoles. We still haven't gotten the first update on consoles. They're already working on the next update, which is also supposed to be pretty big. So this is fun. It's fun waiting.
Everyone loves
Other
being
than-
patient.
This is the year that I'm getting a new Chibi Robo game. It's definitely not, because they haven't produced a game in 5 years, and I'm pretty sure the company's dead. But we're getting a new Chibi Robo game, boys.
I
That's like
also
my
don't know what
expectation.
that is. I'm sorry.
I'm not surprised that you don't know what this game is, because it's pretty small. Yeah, new Chibi Robo game. That's my hope every year, and it never happens.
What? So are you just messing with me then? There's just nothing official coming out then? Like it's just
Nothing's come. Yeah, they don't have a game on the horizon. The company, I'm pretty sure, is actually shut down.
Oh,
So
okay. Well,
we don't
there we
actually
go.
know. Pretty sure the company that made the games is shut down though.
Great. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is happening or not, but apparently every year there's like this fest called B Fest, where basically you watch a whole bunch of B movies for 24 hours with a whole bunch of other people. It's supposed to be pretty fun.
Oh.
I'm not sure if it's gonna happen this year because of COVID and
Mhm.
whatnot, but usually it's in like February
Yeah.
and March, and that was when things started getting bad last year.
I'm
I'm
getting
excited for it. I mean, I want to go to it, but at the same time, I'm afraid to. Not because of COVID, but because my brain will be fried after watching B movies for 24 hours straight.
I want to throw that COVID ended party. I want to throw that COVID end party.
What?
I'm so ready to throw a COVID is over party.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. All I heard was I'm so excited to throw an end party, and I'm like, oh, cool.
I'm so ready to throw a COVID is done. I'm so excited. You know how excited I am? Like I want to do that so bad. That's why I'm hoping it's done by the summertime. I want to throw a party.
COVID will never be over, Diego. I'm sorry.
No!
It will always be a thing.
No! We did talk about watching I had watched Searching for Bobby Fischer, and I think you should watch that movie so we can talk about it. The other movie I was going to suggest is Soul, came out on Disney Plus, and I've been meaning to watch it.
Oh, Soul. Okay, got it. I was like, wait, what? Well, I was like, what are you talking about? But no,
Yeah, that's the
I
new
got it.
Pixar movie.
That is actually fortuitous because my sister just recently got Disney Plus, so that actually works out.
Yo! Perfect.
Hype.
We'll figure it out next time. If not, we can I also really want you to play Firewatch, so we can talk about that at some point. It might be one of those 3 topics is what the next episode's gonna be. Or maybe just a mix of them.
Who knows anymore? I know. I mean,
Do you want to promote the Twitter for this podcast?
absolutely. Give me 1 second while
Exactly.
I will promote it. Give me 1 second while I pull it up so I can get the correct ad.
This podcast has an official Twitter account, which is where we'll post when the show goes live.
It is
Then
at FAFTR YouTube. I'll put it in the description as well. So people, if you're watching this and if you don't follow us on Twitter, I'm going to be really mad. Like Hulk smash right now if you don't follow us on Twitter. I'm just saying.
I've seen Bill when he gets mad. You don't want to see it.
Okay.
I think I'll point to my backloggery again, because maybe next time I'll have something different to promote. But I want to promote that because it's fun.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's the one about video games, right?
Yep, it's pretty much just a video game tracking software where I just or it's not even a software, it's a website. Pretty much I just track what games I'm playing, what games I've finished, all that fun stuff. My stats are abysmal, but that's okay.
No, Diego, don't say that. Everything's fine.
I just need to play more of my games. It's pretty much me shaming myself into playing more of my own games that I own. Like I'm gonna pull it up right now. I haven't finished 66% of my games in my library that I own.
Oh, Diego. Shame.
I'm working on it.
For shame,
I'm working on
Diego.
it.
For shame.
All right, sounds good.
Sounds good. All right.
I'm just working on what I've got.
Well, last time I did the cool catchphrase. Now it's your turn.
Well, thanks guys for watching. It's been a good time. Don't mind me. I've got to go die on the bus. See y'all later. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba.
Okay, very cool.